and some thought this would never happen. I always thought it was going to happen. Uh, we have I have a very special guest today. The Oklahoma City, the original Oklahoma City Bomber.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
uh, Keven Dunsmore, who spells his name differently, but we both love BMX the same. And I want to thank everybody for coming by and watching the podcast or channel, or I don't even know what this is anymore. I think it's a podcast, but I want to thank everybody for coming by. I really appreciate it. The people that I've met and the relationships that I've forged so far have been very well. I wanted to, because a lot of times those stories are a little bit more interesting and you can learn more and they're not as so told and rehearsed basically. So and that's my pleasure. Right. I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
So you're the mod for Craig. Okay. I've
right.
Craig, right?
Craig Allen. Yes, sir.
Craig Allen. And I get Craig and Mike Allen mixed up sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Understandable. Yeah. Good guy. He asked me a couple of about a month ago, 2 months ago. I've only been a moderator for about a couple of months, but I've had my my man cave here. My wife didn't know about my past, and it's funny story. My wife told me, she goes, "I don't know much about your past. Can you fill me in?" And so I really didn't fill her in. She got filled in by somebody that bought something off of Marketplace. So funny story. He goes, your last name is Dunsmore. Is your husband Kevin?" And she said, "Yeah." So crazy that she bought. We found all this stuff. A lot of this are my pictures on the wall. She made it, and here I am.
So, dude, that's I have a cave too. I just don't broadcast for my cave. This is good. This is my one bike I got in back of me. But did I mispronounce your name? It's Dunsmore.
It's Dunsmore. Dunsmore.
Got it. All right,
I'm getting a lot of feedback, Kev. I'm getting a lot of feedback right now.
Okay, can somebody comment if they're getting feedback on the feed? On the whatever, is it better now that I'm closer?
No, it's like a delay. It's a delay.
Huh?
We're getting a delay.
So
I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm getting a lot of feedback. But I can make it through it. I can.
Okay, maybe it'll get better in a minute.
Right.
Okay. So I apologize to everybody watching. Well, we got 6 people watching already. That's cool. So Keven with an E, tell me a little bit about Oklahoma City. You started racing right around the same time I did, I think. No. Let me take that back. You quit when I started racing, but we've been riding about the same time. What was the life like in Oklahoma City in the late 70s, bro?
Man, I started in 79 building hills behind my house. I had a creek bed that ran behind my house. It was called Suicide Hills. And so what we did was we went down there every day. Of course, being a Gen X, we went down there and we came home when the lights, we were out there all the time building hills. We drug our rakes and our garden tools and went down there and built hills. That's where it kind of started at. And a guy named Mark Sumter, a good friend of mine who's no longer with us, asked me to, he said, "Hey man, would you be interested in racing?" And I said, "Well, you know what? I'm a jumper. I like doing tabletops and 360. We lit a Christmas tree on fire, jumped over it back in the early 80s. Hence the reason my knees and my shoulders and my hips already been replaced. So I'm tore up from the floor up, man. So, we did that. And he said, "Hey man, would you be interested in racing?" So he took me to my, our local track, which was Trosper Park BMX Raceway. Randy Decker and Bob Decker. Bob ran the track with Noel Turner and some other guys, and I enjoyed it. So it kind of took off from there. Mom, didn't have a lot of money, and so we just kind of started racing, and it was fun.
Nice. Did you grow up in a well-to-do family, or was it challenging in Oklahoma City? Or?
No, it really. I mean, I had a job when I was I was driving a forklift when I was young, and making money, on the side like that. And I bought a couple of mongooses, and that's what I used as my race bike and my thrasher, what we called, back in the day. So. But I bought a lot of it. And then Mom, she said, "Well, hey, are you really interested in this racing stuff?" And I said, "Yeah, I kind of am." And so it took off in about 81-ish. I went to San Antonio And I've always had stack motos. It went back from the '80s till I quit in '84. I mean, it was that class between 14, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17X was packed. You know how it was. I mean, it was just packed.
Dude, here's what I still try to struggle with to this day. I was, I heard on the During Now's podcast, I heard Mike and Clinton Miller talking about Azusa, which was my home track, and they were saying that there were pro mains out there. There was none of that there when I was there, man. There was like 2 local pros, and I had to race the local pros because I was 17X, and
Right.
I never raced anybody of any note other than Mike Attardi at my first race. But I can't relate to racing. That's why I get all like excited and stuff when I talk to guys now, because I never ran across anybody at the track of any note, and I was in the heart of BMX. It's kind of weird for me that
Yes, you were. Yes, you
I
were.
didn't have none of that experience.
Well, and it was weird because we're in the heartland here in the Bible Belt, whatever you want to call it, heartland, and we had 2 tracks. We got an Oklahoma District 1 and Oklahoma District 2 when I started, and it was just crazy how many we had. John Copeland, I'm sure you remember him. Rodney Cooper. We've had Leon Williams and Yo-Yo Williams. They were younger than me, but their dad really helped us a lot at the track. He was really out there, promoting us to go do these nationals and to go do all this stuff. And we were really into it, and so he helped us a lot. And, they went from factory JMC, they went to GT. He helped us a lot. So we got exposure when we went to these places. And I tried to do my best, and come to find out, I mean, I was out there in a factory white jersey, and I was doing my best, and I made some mains against some fast guys, and I was so happy, man. I was just every time I'm just like pumped up, and made the cover of a magazine I've got over here on my wall, and just man, it just pumped me up it made me faster, made me want to go out there and achieve, be up there with the guys bumping bars with the guys that I looked up to. I looked up to these at Rich Farside. I mean, I had Gary Ellis, the lumberjack, man, Daryl Young. I mean, there's a ton of people we had, and it just never got any easier. So I had to get faster, and that's what we did.
I dig your story because it's very similar to mine, where I was we were street riding, we were jumping in the park in the vacant lots, and I didn't even think about racing until 83. Well, that's not true. I didn't race until 83. I thought about it for many years, but I couldn't have convinced my parents to get us to the races. Not that they were against it; they just had better things to do. We could never get there. But yeah. So I didn't. We were jumping trash cans, picnic tables. I don't remember us lighting a Christmas tree on fire, but we were jumping some pretty sketchy stuff, cars,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
me and my brother and I were definitely the stars in our city for jumping, that type of thing. But once I got on the track, your real reality sets in real fast, bro.
Yeah, it did, and you being out there in that part of California, we went on a West Coast tour, and we weren't, like I said, we took the motor home. Mom had we had a local bicycle shop. I was co-sponsored by Mongoose for maybe it was a 1 year deal, and we went out there and we raced Orange County YMCA, and racing Orange County, man. Looking at it now, I wish I was older and would have took it in more to heart, because that's history, man. That's our history out there, and man, to be out there and race those guys in Orange County before it shut down, it meant a lot to it. It meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to everybody. Rodney Berryhill is a great friend of mine. He's the one that went on the trip with me, Joe Wiggins, and we had a bunch of people. We took my mom's motorhome, and we rented a motorhome with mom. She was sponsor, and we made went San Antonio, Lubbock, and out west Colorado, and just had a blast. Went to Chandler, went to the ABA headquarters, which was fun. So being out west, man, grew up out there, man, that would have been fun. I guarantee it.
Dude, I never even thought about going to Orange, dude. This is what I understand. If I would have known back then, Orange is where everybody is, man, I would have been down there. But I never even thought about racing Orange. Um,
Right.
I want to hear about this. Okay, so I want to talk about this motorhome trip because I want to hear all about that. But your first race, your first experience getting on the track, I want to hear what that was about because that I always find that real interesting about what you thought when you saw a real track, a real berm, a real double jump, and you were hitting. What was your thoughts when that happened?
Man, Kev, it was surreal. I had number 567. I was deep in numbers, and had a pie plate. You remember the pie plates?
Yeah.
I taped it around, and my Haro plate, and I wore spot belts. I had spot belts because I was playing football, and we'll go into that later too. I ended up playing semi-pro football here for a team in town. But anyway, long story short, I was kind of stuck between football and racing, but I went out there after football practice. I had my jeans on, my Levi 501s, my spot belts, and Mark took me to Trosper Park, and man, to see real stuff. It was an eye opener. It really was. Like I said, you can jump all the trash cans and Christmas trees that are on fire, but when you go out there and you see other racers, and you're not jumping. You want to stay low and fast. So it was a change, a big change, and then it was so much fun. Everybody was so friendly. Back in the day, early '80s. Growing up in Oklahoma City, which is it's a town's growing now, like crazy. I was born and raised here in 1966, and it was just an absolute. It was fun, man. It was just fun. The signups, the excitement they were selling, funnel cakes, corn dogs, all that stuff, and man, I took it. I took it and ran with it.
Nice, dude. I remember we used to build what we thought were berms at the in the vacant lots, and they'd be about this a couple feet high. And I remember we went to the track and we were like, "Oh my god, look, that's what a real berm's supposed to look like." And what was what? So you raced your first race was on your Super Goose?
It was on my goose, yeah. And I had a golly, it was I don't even, it was a Cashew seat post sticking straight up, and bars, and it was just I had an open face helmet with lightning bolts. I got a picture of it. It's over here somewhere, and it was a lot of fun. Got hooked. Mom said, "Okay, what do you want to do? You want to play football, or do you want to race bikes?" And I said, "I want to race bikes." And so we took it from there in 1981. And you know what? I hate that I quit in '84. I graduated high school and it was into trucks and other things, and it just I wish I'd have gone on further, but that first race, man, I'll never forget it. I mean, it's just in my shoes to my jeans, and yeah, a little Haro shirt with elbow pads, man. So
Well, at
just an
least you didn't
absolute
wear
blast.
jeans. Wait, you wore jeans or you didn't wear? You had leathers on.
No, I had jeans. I had a pair of jeans on. That was it.
Did you have
That's
the
all I
rubber?
had.
Did you do the rubber bands or did you tuck it in your sock?
I think if I remember right, I did a rubber band. Matter of fact, that's a good question. I need to look that picture up.
So
But
what did you get? What was your first race place?
it
What did you get on your first race?
beginner, and I think, be honest with you, I think I took first, if I remember right, and it was either first or second. And I had the trophy for so long, and my mom moved to Wisconsin, and I never got it. I should have kept it, but it was a little. I mean, it's a little trophy. And then Mark said, "Did you like it?" I said, "Yeah, I did, Mark." But then the next night we went down back to the hills and jumped as high as we could, and as far as we could, and broke frames and cranks and everything like that. So it was. I had to quit. I had to quit doing the rough and tough and get out there. And I'm like, I got to start my starting gate. I got to get that down. My first gate, pedal it, not jump it 29 feet in the air, and so just kind of it was a transition. It was transition. It really was. But man, I wouldn't take it back for the world. I'll never forget it.
So you were that was back when they had the hand thrown gates.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
It was. We
I,
didn't
I
have
was
that. We didn't have that. Yeah.
I was right there when they switched over, and I remember there was a guy the local hot shoe there, Dave Wilson, no relation to myself, but he's like I was getting smoked every race, and he goes, "Hey, go on riders ready," and I go, Oh, okay. And after he told me to go on Riders Ready, I could hang with pretty much anybody on the track at that particular point. But my first, I've talked about a little bit of my first race experience
No, go ahead.
where there was I started when I was 16, and there was no 16 beginner, so they put me in with 16 expert, and I got smoked hard, and it made me have to learn how to get fast, real fast. And
Yeah. How did you do your first race?
like dead last by about half a lap.
Now you did dead last, but then you moved up or moved back down. Did they have a class after that?
No, I raced 16X for probably a month, but then I went to the national, and they actually had a. I went to the '83 Jag World Championships, and they actually had a 16 beginner class, and that was the first time I ever raced beginners. Well, they said they were beginners. I would suspect now that they were probably not intermediate sandbag in the
Right,
beginner class.
right,
But
right. But
yeah,
now
I
was
didn't get
that
out of
at
my
the
motos.
was that at the because I remember I qualified to go to the Gold Cup in Las Vegas in 1983. I found an article about it last night. Wasn't that at it wasn't at the Tropicana, but it was. I vaguely remember that race, and I can't remember the whole thing, but I was there also. I was there also.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So you got thrown to the wolves pretty quick.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but now I look back at it, it was fun, man. I remember
Oh yeah.
my close friend was a B pro at the time, and he was the kind of like the leader of the main bikes team. I wasn't on main bikes at the time; I was still a beginner. But he always said, he goes, if you ever beat, he used to drive me to the track, and he used to tell me, if you ever beat me, I'm making you ride your bike home. And finally, when I became 16 expert, and I beat him one night for the first time, the fucker left me at the track.
He told you though. At least he told you.
He's a B pro, man. I go, fuck you, man. I'm a 16 expert.
Well,
Anyways, man. So
we had to move
we're
up. We
still
had
we're
to
still
move
tight
up.
to this day.
Well, that's
But
good,
it was
man.
a
That's
funny
good.
story.
I wish I could talk to Mark, to this day, but he passed away. It's been a while, and it was a hard blow because he taught me everything I knew, taught me what to do, but they would move us up. They would move us up, and I got thrown to the wolves too a bunch. So you're not the only one.
Did you move up early? Because I moved up. I think we were supposed to get at the time like three wins, and then you can move up to
It was
expert,
3 wins.
whatever.
Yeah, it was
I,
three
I
wins.
think
Yes.
I just think I went to expert after like my first intermediate win, and dealt with it. And no one even checked, right? They didn't care.
No, no.
Yeah, I was like, my first 6 months racing expert, I go, oh, they're gonna check points, and they're gonna figure out that I didn't win 3 races, man. But no one cared.
No one cared. Yeah, I mean that's what we did. We moved out quick. I think we had a beginner, novice, and expert. Man, I was an expert before I knew it. I mean, it was there, and I'm glad I did, because I wanted to get up there with those guys that I watched. And like I said, coming from Oklahoma, we had some fast cats, man. We had a lot of fast dudes, and then but mom said, "Hey, man, do you want to? If you want to do it, I'm going to get a motor home. We're going to make a swing down to San Antonio. We're going to go out west. We're going to do some things around here." Arkansas, there's not a whole lot of. We went to Cowtown. We went to all the triple points races. We just tried to get as many points as we could and get that low number plate. And I ended up number 8 in the state when I quit.
Dude, man, you were fast. How? Okay, let's. I'm dying to find out how you didn't get sponsored, but so you're riding, you're local, you're kicking ass. You never even went on a bike shop team.
I was asked by House of Wheels, which was Mr. Bill Hicks was his name, and he asked me to be on like a co-sponsor team, and I said, no, we're just gonna do. I I don't know, man. I was shooting for something out there, and I knew I had a ways to go. But Leon Williams' dad was helping us, and he would train us. And he said, hey, if you really want to do this, stick it out. Come with me. We'll do some things like that. Mom didn't have a lot of money. Like I said, we just didn't have the money to go to every national, but when I did, I wanted to make mom proud. I wanted to make her. I wanted to say, "Hey, if you're going to spend the money on me, I'm damn sure going to try and get you in the main." Didn't say I was going to win by any
Right.
means. When you're up against Ellis, Farside, Lonkarovich, those names you don't beat very often. Not a lot of people can say they beat them, man. And you got some other guys, man. I can't. Hubert Woods. You got. golly, man, Fred Johnson from Vegas, Tom Bednor's, Cody Smart. I mean, these guys are just phenomenal riders. And for me, just to be up there, even if I was a mid packer, my best national finish was second. Bill Brzink beat me, and he was an arm wrestler. He went on to be an arm wrestler. And it's just a lot of fun being up there with those guys banging bars. I don't know. I wish I'd have stuck it out more. It kicks my butt right now because if I think and my wife tells me this all the time. She goes, you know what? If I was your girlfriend or wife, I would have made you stay because you would have got a sponsor. And so I got to think about that. But you know what? I can't regret anything. I really can't. I had fun doing my own thing and being the only white jersey out there with all these good-looking Diamondback and Charlie Williams. Man, Charlie and I talk a lot. Charlie Williams is a bad dude, man. Me and him were running fourth at the Grands here in my hometown, and that made my mom proud when we made the Grands here at Oklahoma City in '82. I was wheel to wheel with Charlie in fourth. He slid out, took me with him, and I got up on my bike first and beat him. Actually, I got seventh, he got eighth. So hey, I'll take a win as a win, brother. So I'll take
you get last, dude. That's all that counts.
That's all that matters. So I'll take that and run with that one. But and then, like I said, I kind of when I turned 18, I don't know, trucks. Had a nice little truck or car. Just getting out of high school. I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd stayed another couple of years. I really do.
Did you race nationals as a beginner or an intermediate, or do you just race as an expert?
Expert. I went expert quick and moved up, and it was all expert when I was there. And no, never did do that. I think the first had Daryl Young, Cody Smart in a moto in San Antonio, and I was expert, but man, I was like I think I was number 77. I was trying to move up, and like I said, I ended up with number 8. But man, you just couldn't find a more great atmosphere to be up against those guys. I can't praise them enough. They're all Hall of Famers. Everyone I've mentioned should be in the Hall of Fame. And for me to have these, trinkets around my garage that my wife did, man, it makes me proud. And she's proud of me. I just sit back and I'm just like, man, I was there. I was there. I looked up to these guys in magazines. I was happy, man. I wouldn't change a thing for the world.
So was that your biggest disappointment when you got washed out by Charlie, or was there something that was bigger?
No, I believe that was it. I really do. I was in my hometown. They said my name, from Oklahoma, and you're just up there with California, California, and then Texas and a couple of Texas, or Cody Smart. It was just. I'm gonna have to say yeah. I'm gonna have to say yeah on that one.
Okay,
it was tough.
Let's talk about this motorhome. How old were you when this occurred?
12, 13.
I started 12, 13. All right.
Yep.
Who drove it? Okay, so did your mother drive it?
My mom drove it, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was in the impression that she just rented it for you and someone else drove it, or you drove it.
No, that would be dangerous.
Okay.
That would have been dangerous. We would have gotten a lot of trouble. Rodney Berryhill, who owns a motorsports complex track right down the road from me here, him and I went, his brother Brett, they were just great kids to grow up with. Rodney raced a CW. He was making mains. He was making now he was novice. I was expert, but man, we were having a great time. Mom was enjoying it, so we did it for a while, and we came back, and I think it was just kind of local after that.
So was it like a week or 2 weeks, a month? How long did you guys spend on the road?
We went on a vacation too while we were out that way. Like I said, we went to Chandler, Arizona, to the BMX headquarters, ABA BMX headquarters. We talked to people in there, got to see how they operate. We got to see everything. Went to the Chandler track. That's when we went to Orange County. We went on out to Orange County. It was a lot of fun out there, and we did that probably a couple of months. We went back through Colorado. When we ended the race in Colorado, we went on a vacation up in the mountains. It was a lot of fun.
Nice, dude. So you don't live far from the Hall of Fame. Have you been there many times?
I've been there a bunch. We've been there 3 or 4 times now. I am about an hour and a half away in Oklahoma City. I'm actually in Mustang, Oklahoma, which is a suburb of Oklahoma City, about 7 miles kind of southwest of it. But we go to the Nationals, and we've been up there a lot. I've got people. It's funny you say that. I've got people that come in. I'm in my garage right now. This is my garage setup. People come in here and they like, can I come into the Hall of Fame in there? I'm like, what do you mean? I said, this is just me. No, man, this is can we come into this, to this badass cave you got? I'm like, well, yeah, come on. So I've got people coming in from neighborhoods. I've had people come in walking their dog, like, hey, man, can I come in and look at stuff? So I've got my own little setup here. I love going up there taking pictures. Gork and I talk. I pulled some archive stuff of us where I've got it blown up here. These aren't just pictures of people. These are all me. And so my wife did this. I have to give her all the credit in the world for doing it.
That's cool that your wife. My wife is also supportive of what I do. She thinks I'm a little crazy, but she is very supportive. I've told the story about when I bought that $4,500 JMC out of Pennsylvania, and she's like, "Are you sure this is a good idea?" I go, "Yeah, trust me, it's fine." And what? So you're also a collector as well, I see.
I am.
What's the most? I mean, what's your holy grail? Are you looking for anything? I'm a collector too. I search. I'm a hunter. What's your whole outlook on the collecting market these days?
I saw where you did. I looked on yours and was creeping on your page, I guess. But I saw where you did a lot of stuff. I don't know. I've got a Skyway that sits behind me here. That's what I raced when I raced. I raced a mongoose and a Skyway, and then right next to it, behind me here, that's a Super Goose, and it was filmed in a commercial with Mark Connor in the movie Rad, and that's actually the bike he shot a commercial on. So and I love my red line. That's a red line over there too. So, man, I would be here all day talking to you about which my holy grail, but I'm kind of partial to my red line and to my Super Goose and my Skyway.
So
But
that's not your original Super Goose. That's Bart Connor's.
well, it's not really even his.
How did you get it?
Unfortunately,
That was on the in the movie.
well, it was. I got a commercial. I've got a picture of it. It's got the Cobra Kai deal on the back of the plate, which it's just cool. So anyway, it's just cool to have. My wife actually surprised me with these and said, "Hey, I know they're not your originals. I know they're not anything like you had, but it's as close as you're going to get." And because I've lost mine, I moved. My mom moved. Like I said, she moved to Wisconsin. I lost everything. I had trophies, my Skyway gear and stuff like that. I wanted to be factory so bad. I would dress like everybody. I had a Harlow jersey that matched the Skyway, but sometimes I'd run my graphite. Sometimes I'd run my rims. But I was confused, I guess.
Dude,
But
there were guys, always the fast guys never wore leathers, right?
yep,
I
yep.
never raced without leathers, dude, ever. Once I got a pair of Harlow leathers, I was never at the track without leathers on, dude. And I was like, I couldn't understand how all these fast guys were like always racing in jeans. I was like,
Yep,
dude, come on, man,
yep.
put some leathers on. Let's go, look good. But I
That's the
always
only.
wanted to look factory too.
Tom Bednore's had a silver jacket. That's all that guy ran. He had a silver jacket, and it was always open, fast as can be. And he wore a silver members only jacket, a members only jacket.
Wait, well, like no
So
t-shirt, just a jacket.
just a jacket, long
Dude,
sleeve jacket. That's all he had on.
I take that back. That's gangster.
It was straight gangster, and I laugh about it to this day. I look at the pictures of him, and dude was just lightning quick. I mean, he didn't really have a big name either, but he ended up getting sponsored by Bandito. He had a Bandito sponsorship when he quit. But yeah, to do that, I would have loved to have done that. But I always wanted to look the part. I wanted to look the part. When I didn't, end up getting thing, I'm like, well, and because Skyways are on really, I had JTs. I got a pair of my JTs back there behind me, but I wore jeans a lot. I wore the Gators. You remember the Gators, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had to wear the Gators. Now I laugh at myself now. I wish I hadn't have because I looked pretty funny. So I wore the Gators, and I didn't. I shouldn't have. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, never wore a Gators. Dude, you know what I did? I used to have one red shoe and one white shoe. One red van, one white van. Did you guys do that out in Oklahoma?
No, it had to be the same shoe. I guess we were wanting to be, my OCD would have set in probably or something. I don't know. So no, I didn't do that, man. I couldn't do it, but I did wear different jerseys and jeans a lot. I wore my spot belts, cleats, man. But it's just what I did. I wanted to look the part if I couldn't be, but most of the time you'd find me with my name on my butt and a white jersey. That was it. That was it.
Wow, that's cool.
It was
What so
fun,
what
man.
my when you talk about not your original bike, yeah, I basically my BMX experience is cut in half where the first half was SE. My whole group, my crew that I ran with, we all had PK rippers, quad angles, everything, Flovals, OMs, and then
Wow.
I broke to Reach for about 8 months. You've heard of Reach, Tim Littlethorpe, right?
Right.
And then I
Right.
went, and then because in our group, JMCs always broke. They were for like guys that were stuck up that had money, like in our group. And I was like,
Right.
dude, I want a JMC, but I could never ride any JMC that was smaller than the Daryl Young.
Right.
A 3.1, all those others, those were all kids' bikes, little kids. I'm like, how were, like, I think I was talking to Brian Gass or Ron House where they were saying that they were riding a JMC Black Shadow when they were on the Vans team. I was like, dude, how the hell could you race a Black Shadow? But anyways, I had I had an Andy Patterson and a Daryl Young, and I
Wow.
actually found the guy. I know who I sold it to, and I actually found him on Facebook, and I
Right.
chased him down. And I go, dude, do you still have my Andy Patterson? He's like, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. I had your Andy Patterson. I'm all, oh, never
Yeah.
mind, never mind. So my
I,
Andy
I I wanted
Patterson.
to I wanted a quad angle so bad and a PK Ripper. Man, that was just those welds on the PK Ripper, the welds. Oh man, unbelievable how they machined them. They were beautiful, beautiful welds.
And I
Yeah,
never broke one JMC, dude. Not one. Never cracked it, nothing. And I was
right.
like, wow, but I guess if you know how to ride, uh, you know, I guess I was smooth enough where I didn't
Yeah.
break nothing. But
And me, I rode a super good, a big heavy. A Mongoose is a heavy bike back in the day, and they are. I mean, they were. And I did break them jumping down at the hills, but I never broke one racing. The Ashtabula forks, man. Remember those Ashtabula forks back in the day? They were tough, and we never did do it, man. But it's a heavy bike, and if when you put graphites on it, it makes it that much heavier. So I had to have some big legs to torque, man, and get these things rolling because man, that's a lot of weight.
yeah, yeah. So did you roll the Astrobula single clamp stem gooseneck?
No, no, didn't do that. I was always a pro neck, tough neck kind of guy, man. I couldn't do anything else, man, because when I would land, man, I would just yank back on them, and never really. I think I broke a couple, but my deal, I broke cranks. I had one piece cranks, and I would snap a one piece crank coming off the gate because I would torque them,
Whoa,
and
whoa, whoa,
man,
whoa, whoa! You did that happen to you too?
it happened quite often, sir. Yeah, you also.
Oh, you finish your story, then I'll tell you mine.
No, no, I was just gonna say I snapped so many coming off the gate. My wife makes fun of me. I mean, I've got scars. I torqued it off the gate, man, and snapped so many. I'd run to my mom and say, "Mom, you got some cranks? We need to borrow some." I broke them again, and it was funny. It was funny, but you broke them too,
Dude, I've in my life. Well, now I have three-piece cranks, but
right?
back up until 88 or whatever, no, 87 when I quit,
Right?
I had never touched a pair of three-piece cranks. Every
Nope.
one of my crew, every one of my friends, all had Redline flights.
Right.
Some had Philwoods. I believe did Philwood make cranks or just the bottom bracket
You know what? I
profiles? They
can't.
had profiles.
Profiles, yes,
And
yes.
okay, so I never had three-piece cranks. I never had sealed bearing hubs. I never had sealed bearing bottom bracket. Never. I had sunshine ball bearing hubs and one-piece cranks with Shimano
Wow.
DX pedals. So at the War of the Stars in '84, I
Hmm.
I was coming out of the gate and I whole shot it. I had the whole shot. I looked to my right. I looked to my left. No one was there. I was like, oh my God, this is my day. Second crank, my crank snapped in half. I went over the bars, and I tell people this story now, and people are saying, dude, there's no way that you could have broke a pair of Takagi crank 180s out of the gate. And I go, dude, it happened, man. And when
Yeah.
you say that it happened to you,
Oh yeah.
that just validates my opinion that it can happen. And because people never believe me that it happened to me. And
Oh yeah.
that was the most I've ever been jacked up on a ride on a race because I went over the bars, hit hard. I messed up my back, my leg. Yeah, but I broke my cranks coming out of the gate, just like you did.
It happened a bunch, man, and for you out in the lead and nobody around. That's our luck back in the day. You're like, oh man, I'm up in the lead. I'm looking good, and then snap something. It never fails. It
Yeah,
never fails. So
yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, I snapped several pair, man. My shins are. I mean, I'm just tore up, man. And my body hurts and everything else. So it's just it was worth it. Wouldn't trade it for the world. But yeah, my mom got mad at me because she had to pay. She had to pay somebody on site. Leon Williams would have some. Hey, you got some cranks. He always carried extra. So it was an experience, I promise you. But I'm like you, I never ran a pair. I never ran flights, never. It was always one piece because I wanted to torque out the gate, and that's the only way I felt like I could. I just, man,
I
that's
always
what it
thought
was.
they were too wide. I always thought that the 3-piece cranks will put my feet out too far. I
Right.
always thought that I could get better leverage when my feet were closer to my frame. I don't
Yep.
know if that's the reason why I never had them.
Well, we all had our little quirks. I ran with my bar. Everybody else I know had their bars up. I ran with my bars back a little bit more than everybody. I'm every shot I've got my bars. I'm like, why did I run with my bar? I don't remember. Felt good. I don't have long arms. I'm not 6 foot. I'm 5'9", and I just that's the way I felt comfortable. Same as you. You felt comfortable that way.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the one part that was there one part that stuck with you throughout your career on a BMX bike, or were you pretty much fluid with what was popular at the time?
I stuck with a lot of stuff people did not. Fieldwood hubs, man. They were bullseye. Ran bullseye for a while. I just the graphites. Not a lot of people ran graphites. I didn't mind them. My mom asked me, she goes, "Why are you running those big heavy graphites?" I said, "I don't know. I just like them. I like them a lot." So in Oklahoma, the wind blows. I mean, you should know the wind blows here bad. So I'm out there running graphites in a big open field and battling wind, and much less competition. So they were a lot of fun to run, but they kind of hindered me, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, I never touched a pair of tough wheels until the first year at Dirty Fest. I put a pair of tough wheels on my power light, and I raced raced one race, and I said, "Get these things off my bike, man."
So what was your biggest deal when you were racing? What do you remember the most about your racing career? What do you
Oh
remember
man,
most about it?
I remember. Okay, so there was two tracks in Azusa, California. There was the NBL track, which is the popular one. Whenever you see in a magazine, the Azusa track, it's always the one with the bridge with the big starting hill. Okay, that wasn't my look. I was an ABA guy, so I was down the street a little bit. But there was I remember on a winter night, it's just gotten dark. There was a Happy Jack's fish farm on the other side of the track, and the wind would be blowing the fish smell across the starting hill, and you'd be up there and no t-shirt on, and the wind's blowing through your jersey, and you're going,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. You getting up there, and I used to have these white, I guess they were Echo gloves with a cloth with little dots on them, and
Right.
I used to
Right.
I rode AME tries
Yep.
I rode AME tries or Oakley B1Bs, and I
Yep.
used to just dig those dots into my grips, and you go "Urgh," and you get
Yep.
motivated. That's what I remember about racing BMX. Where you're up on and
Yep.
I never even watched the lights. I never even looked at the lights. Did you actually watch lights? Did anybody ever watch the lights?
I didn't. I watched I knew about where the gate. When I felt my gate, and I was just the gate most. I didn't watch the
Yeah,
lights because you'd be late if you watched the light. You'd be
yeah.
late.
I never watched.
And
I never
yep,
once did I turn my head. I was
yep,
constantly looking at my front wheel.
yep,
Yeah, I never
yep.
looked at it. So maybe that's common that no one watched the lights. I don't know.
I don't think any. I don't know that a lot of people do. I watched a lot of gates and practiced a lot of gates. Because that's where it's at. I believe that if you're late off the gate, man, and you're done. And my wife gets mad at me today, man. I'm in my pickup and I'm punching it off the gate, off the light. I mean, I got a Maserati next to me, man. I'm on it. She goes, "You're all gas and no brakes, man." I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." So I mean, I'm doing it. I'm doing it at 58 years old, man. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So,
Yeah.
but no, I remember doing that. And she asked me, she goes, "Why do you not wear gloves?" And I got a lot of pictures where I don't wear gloves. I never liked the feel. I wear my Oakleys. And that was it, man. I just felt more comfortable with that grip with my bare hand, and that's the way I felt. That's the way it felt. It felt better. So I never wore gloves a lot. I did every once in a while, not very often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not very
I didn't
often.
wear socks though.
Right. Well, I had to. I felt I would feel uncomfortable if now my hey dudes today. I don't wear socks, and I go out and post. She goes, sometimes I do wear socks. She goes, "You look gangster." I'm like, "Well, sometimes, sometimes."
Dude, my
So,
mom used to throw our shoes away. She
yep,
wouldn't let her. She wouldn't let me bring my shoes in the house.
yep.
They stunk so bad, man.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't wear socks, they do. And she gets on me that, and I'm wearing them out with no, she goes, you gotta do something, man. So I just wear my hey dudes, man. If I'm comfortable, I am. If I wear socks, I do. If I don't, I don't, man. So that's funny you say that. That's hilarious you say that.
Oh,
But no,
and
man, I just
and
go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and we kind of got off track, but going from the motorhome trip, um, you know, we made that swing, came back. I think I parked my bike and maybe went to the hills a couple more times and didn't do it. But then I went on and did the most stupidest thing and started playing for a semi-pro football team here in town. And so, if I wasn't going to tear my body up racing bikes, which I did, I was going to tear it up playing ball and letting 350-pound linebackers, because I played fullback and I was 225, ran a 4.640. I mean, hell, I was holding my own, and I'd pop your ass. But man, these dudes, and so now I'm feeling it. My everything hurts. I got arthritis. I got to have my neck fused. My shoulders, my hip got replaced in 2018. I did a bilateral knee. Did them both at the same time 2 years ago. People thought I was nuts, but I wouldn't get them both done. I wasn't going to get one done because I wouldn't have gone back and get the other one done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Wait,
I
wait.
got them both done.
Your hips done.
Yeah, got my hip done in 2018. One hip. I've got to get my shoulders done. They haven't been done. I mean, I've got fingers that are just. I mean, you can see them. They're all that one won't go down. It's just. So I decided to tear my body up even more and do semi pro football. So
I want to hear about your last race before we go into football. Do you
yeah,
remember your last race?
it's funny you say that, Kev. I don't. I don't, and I
I
wish
don't
I
either.
did. I
I don't
know. I
either.
wish I did. I wish
I
I
couldn't
did.
tell you.
I just I wanted to go. I just parked it, man. I had my truck sitting in the garage. I was out there waxing it one day. My bike was over there, and it was pick the truck or pick the bike. I picked the truck and went out cruising with my friends.
Chris Liggett wants to know how old we are. I'm 56. I will be 57 at the end of August. How you're 58, right?
I'm 58. I just turned 2 weeks ago, June the 13th. I just turned
Okay.
58.
Okay.
Now I feel like I'm 98, but I turned 58. So 108 sometimes. So,
So
but
you started playing football your senior year or your junior? Wait, not even in
I
high school. It was after high school.
I didn't play in high school because I was racing. I
Okay.
graduated, and then I started playing when I was 21, something like that. And there was two teams here. I went and tried out for them. And the first 2 years, I blew my knee out, blew my right knee out, and then I blew my left knee out. And then I just ran with it. They got him back up. And surgeries weren't like they were now. Matter of fact, I had a veterinarian do my surgery this time. He was so good. He quit doing bovine. He came seriously. These knees are retrofitted for me. They don't fit anybody else. It's a pretty neat process. They don't do any of the surgeries they used to, and so he was a veterinarian at one time, and now he's doing people. So I figured if he could work on a bull, he could work on me. So, and man, it's the best thing
Dude,
I ever did in my life.
there's your nicknames. Dude, you can be like, uh, Kevin the Bull.
I kind of
Whatever.
like that. I kind of like, yeah, I kind of like that. I've been called a lot worse, so I like that one. I like that one, man.
Yeah.
But no, it
So
was, it was. I don't remember my last race. I don't. I don't.
yeah, neither do I. I know approximately when I stopped racing. I mean, right before I went in the Marine Corps. but I don't remember none of it. I don't remember. I remember selling my bike, and that's it. I don't remember my last race at all.
Yeah.
It's
It's sad,
it's
isn't it?
sad.
It's sad. It really is.
The
So you just parked yours and went on too, huh?
Yeah, well, and then the funny well, you talk about playing football. I'm 6'2", and I was 310 pounds. I blew out both my quadriceps and my legs, and I went to 310 pounds. So if you look at some of my early videos, I was enormous. But
I saw.
yeah, I got down at I'm down at 267, 268 right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's still fucking fat as fuck, but I'm a lot better now. I'm doing a little bit of boxing, and
Right.
but when I was in high school, I was probably my junior year. I was probably, I don't know, 5'6", 5'7", maybe 130, 140 pounds, and I showed up for football tryouts, and the coach literally laughed at me and told me to get the hell out of the field, and I was like, oh man, okay, whatever. So
Yeah.
he did. So my senior year, I go from 5'7" or whatever to 6'2", and at that time I'm probably 190, 200 pounds, and he's my math teacher, and he goes, "Where have you been? Why haven't you been out for football trials?" I'm like, "Kiss my ass, man! You told me last year that you didn't want me."
That's
And
funny. I always tell people I used to be 6'3". I don't know what the hell happened, man. I shrank to 5'8" or 5'9". But I was 6'3". Everybody's like, "You're funny, man. You're funny." I don't know. That's
yeah,
just
so
his deal.
when I went in the Marine Corps, there was a Marine Corps football team on base, and I tried out for it. Once again, I was too small for alignment, and I was I said, well, don't let me play tight end, but I guess I didn't think that I could catch good enough to be a tight end, so
Right.
I didn't make it on any football team. But when we're playing scrimmages, I would hit like it was the Super Bowl, and people would be like, "Dude, Willie, don't hit me so hard, man. This is tackle touch football, man." I'll be
Yep.
like, "Man, I
Yep.
never got to hit," and
Yep.
so, anyways, that's
Well,
my football story.
I ran a 4.640, which is pretty darn fast. 225 when I played. I would pop you if you were a linebacker. I didn't care, or I'd run around the end and you can't catch me pretty much. So, I got some videos of me doing that. It's pretty wild to watch watch those guys. But man, there were some big dudes, man. I mean, there's a lot of people around this area and these parts. We played Dallas. We flew to Chicago. We flew to California. We did all that stuff, and it was a cool deal. We did it for the fun because we weren't getting paid a whole lot of money. And when you're 21, 24, right in there that area, you're doing it for fun, and that's what we did. It was a lot of fun. A
Yeah,
lot of fun.
nice, dude, nice.
Yep.
So I'm curious about your helmets. Are your helmets original or are they repop?
They're repops.
Okay.
They're repops. I've got them over there, man. That's my pride and joy. That hutch. I had Charlie Williams call me. He said he wanted to wear. I think it was the Dirty Fest. He said, "Hey, man, can I should have wore that helmet, you know?" And I'm like, "Well, hey, it's right here, you know." The Diamondback ones. My wife found them. I'm into that now more than I mean. I've got about. I had a KZ. I had a Kawasaki. I had a Kuwahara that I got rid of. But now I've got enough bikes. I'm doing jerseys. I've got a lot of replicas. I've got an SE factory jersey over there. Banners. I've got banners all over the ceiling. But that's where I'm at right now is doing the repop helmets. Love that. It's really cool to find them and to get them. But I'm running out of room to tell you the truth, and so I got to find some more room. That's what I'm doing.
I'll show you my one helmet.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
I got this. This is a dyno helmet that I got off of eBay for, I think it was like $10.
Hey.
And I was like, I can't let this helmet go for $10. So
Right.
I picked it up, and when I was interviewing Mike Miranda, he's like, "Hey, is that a dyno helmet in back of you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Dude, I'm the one that made those helmets for GT." I'm all, "Oh wow, drip out."
Wow.
You know what? Next Dirty Fest, I'm going to take it down there and have them autograph it.
Man, that's cool. I would do that in a heartbeat. I wish I would have done that. I want to get. I've got the original. I've got the Huffy banner. I'm going to turn it up there. I've got the Huffy. That Huffy banner is when I placed seventh when Pete Longcarovich and all the Pistol Pete and all those guys. So I got that one, and that's from the Grands also here in the city. So I've got 2 banners from the Grands. There's my SE jersey hanging over there, and got we rode a Harley for a long time. I got a lot of Harley memorabilia too, but no, it's fun to collect, man. I'm into that now because I'll never race again. I wish I could, but I'll never do it again. But man, it's just so much fun. We sit out here, we watch our TV. It's just sit down here and look and relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, dude. Isn't there a vintage race or a vintage get together somewhere in Texas Toast, or is that is there a Texas thing like Northern California's Frogtown, Southern California's Dirty Fest? Isn't there one in Texas somewhere?
I don't know if they're doing Cowtown BMX. I don't know. We had one here. My wife made sandwiches, and we had a get together. We had an old House of Wheels van where they had the speakers where they did the PA announce. They announced the race on the PA. Had all that. We had a DG. We had all these Schwinn's. We did it right here on the driveway. My neighbors came over. Man, we had a big get together right here. We had 20 some odd people or 30. We're planning on doing another one. I had Mike Miranda has asked me to come by, and Nelson Chanity's asked me. He said, "Man, when y'all have one, let me know. If I'm coming through town, we're going to stop." So we were going to have one in June. It got hot here. It's hot, and we're not going to do it yet until it cools back down. Probably do another one in September or something like that. But I've had a lot of the guys off the page, want to come by and see the collection and just hang out. So we're going to do one here. But yeah, I think they do one at Cowtown, if I remember right now. I may be wrong.
Well,
I may be wrong.
before we wrap this thing up, I want to know what were your favorite parts of the Hall of Fame, dude? What was your favorite exhibit or your favorite experience at the Hall of Fame when you go?
Well, I hate they're not open on Saturday because that makes it hard on everybody. They're closed Saturday and Sunday. I personally, my favorite, there's some beautiful memorabilia up there. I like going to the archives room and I'll dig for magazine articles and I'll see names that I forgot. You know what I'm saying? Some famous guys that I forgot. And believe me, trust me, man, I look up to every one of those guys, man. They made me a fast mother trucker. And I look at their name and I'm like, man, I raced that guy, or that's my favorite part. But I mean, everybody's got their own good, gorgeous
Dude,
bikes up there. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
I totally believe you, man. Because the amount of articles or the amount of race results that you post on the Facebook page is remarkable, dude.
Yeah, man, I
I
appreciate
was
it.
like, holy cow! And his name's in every one of them.
Well, I try to post every. I didn't do the NBL. I did not do NBL. I did ABA all the way. Didn't do any NBL because I'd already quit in '84. But I did a lot of that. And that's my favorite room. And I go in there, back in there. Gork lets me get in the back. He said, "Hey, just pull what you need. I'll scan them for you." I wish these old magazines would scan a lot more stuff, because if you go into magazine.com or old bmxmagazine.com, you get in there, they've not scanned a lot of the 80s issues. And I don't know why they don't, but they haven't. And so it's just I miss that part. So I got to go up there and get them and then post them. That's what I do, man. And when my wife, she's had about 9 back surgeries now. When she's not feeling good, she goes in there and lays down or whatever. I'm like, okay, babe, I'm gonna let you rest. I go in there and I pull articles out of the magazine and I post them for people like you, for people like me. I miss the '80s, man. I do. It's rough. It's not a time right now where, I mean, the world's a crazy place, but man, you can go back and relive your childhood. That's what I do.
Dude, do you watch Danny Pena's YouTube channel?
I have before. I saw him. I saw it
Okay.
just a minute ago.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of stuff.
Because you would probably enjoy it because he goes through those magazines like with a fine tooth comb, dude. Like, I joked with him. I go, dude, you even read the copyright date and the everything, man. He goes through that stuff. So I think he has a really cool different approach on the YouTube channel.
He
but
does.
How far is? I'll give Danny a shout out. I think Danny's watching.
Absolutely. I saw him all ago.
How far is the Hard Rock Tulsa from the Hall of Fame? Do you know?
Man, it's not far at all.
Is it subway distance?
No, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I don't.
If I ever make it,
but yeah.
If I ever make it up there, I'm gonna stay at the Hard Rock, and then I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Well, if
And
you ever get through here in Mustang, Oklahoma, which we're south of I-40, I think you and I talked about it. We're south about 6 miles. Man, you can stay here, man. I got extra room. I sleep out here, man. I slept out here. My wife slept out here. You can sleep. I got a TV, man. We got a refrigerator over there. I'll hook you
dude,
up, brother.
I'm going to take you up on that, bro. You
I'll
know,
hook you up.
there's been a couple of times where I've had to stay overnight at the Loves on radio.
Yep.
Or and what's the one at exit 138? Is that radio? There's two. There's two
Yeah,
in
there's a
Oklahoma City.
radio. Well, there's a couple of them, but that Love's the one you stay out by El Reno, which is not too far from here. You're only about 8 or 10 miles west of me. So yeah, man,
Okay.
you're real close. Real
Okay.
close. I'll pick you up at the Love's. I'll bring you over here. We'll go eat. We'll go eat, man. We'll go eat.
Dude, you know what? I think we're gonna have to have a date, bro.
Hey, brother, I'm ready. I'm ready.
With that being said, Kevin, I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate your patience and rescheduling this thing. My job sucks, and I had no choice. They sent me to Denver, and then I had to go from Denver to Sacramento. So
Yeah.
it was like,
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do. I'm here. I work locally, but I want to thank you for your channel, man. Looking back at the past, you love the '80s as much as I do. I just want to give there's a lot of people out here. I'm missing their names. I appreciate you. You know, I'm a nobody pretty much. I guess a privateer, whatever you want to call it. But I had the same deal. I love the '80s, and I'd bang bars with you if you wanted to, like you said. But man, I really love the '80s, and it was a great time and a great era. I want to thank you for having me on, man. It
oh,
really meant a
no
lot
problem,
to me,
man.
dude.
My pleasure. And I want to thank everybody that's taken the time out of their night to join Kevin and Kevin. That sounds like a law firm, huh?
Yeah, Kevin and
I'd
Kevin,
like
we
to
should do
thank
that.
everybody for joining us. I thank you very much. I appreciate everybody that watches. Nobody subscribes. I think I have one subscriber that posted something on there, but I don't ask for people to subscribe. I just thank people for watching, and I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you, everybody that will watch. And if I reach out to you and ask you to come on the podcast with me, and you don't want to do it, I apologize ahead of time, but I don't know until I ask. From
Hey,
Kevin and Kevin, thank you
Kevin and
very
Kevin,
much for BMX vs. Podcast. Have a great night,
anytime.
everybody, and we will talk to you later. And the track is now closed. Kevin, thank you very much, bro.
Thank you, buddy. Anytime. Let me know.
Peace out.
Bye bye.